Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Denise Johnson, an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up, coming to you from Bedford, New Hampshire. I am Stamp Designs with Denise. You can find my blog, stampdesignswithdenise.net, and on my blog will be all of the links that I talk about today and also pictures and measurements for all the cards I am demonstrating today. So please join me there for more information. And if you would like to subscribe to my blog so that you do not miss any of the videos that I put out either on Facebook or YouTube, on the homepage of stampdesignswithdenise.net, on the right-hand side, there is a line where you can subscribe to my blog, and you will receive notifications every time I post a blog or do a video. And that is usually only once a week. I do not send out emails every single day or anything. It would only be once a week, and then you can always unsubscribe if you find that that is not for you. So please consider subscribing. Again, stampdesignswithdenise.net. Now let's get some housekeeping out of the way and we will start creating our cards. Stampin' Up has the kits collection, which is about 10 different stamping kits. These kits are great for this summer if you're traveling and you want to bring something that's self-contained, easy to put together, and has all the supplies you need to create some pretty awesome cards. So you can go online and it will tell you what kits are still available. They are while supplies last. And there is a link on this video and in my blog so that you can see those. The next paper pumpkin kit, which is a monthly subscription kit, is The Adventure Begins. You'll make 12 cards with coordinating envelopes, and life is full of big adventures that are best experienced together. So these cards will spark inspiration and share encouragement. It's always a great time to join Stampin' Up. I'm looking for some team members, so if you're interested in joining, there are many benefits. The biggest one is your discount, 20% discount that you get on everything that you buy or sell. So please reach out to me and talk to me about joining Stampin' Up. I'd love to share this experience with you. The last chance products from the January to June mini catalog are still available. So you can go online, you can click the link to print out this flyer. Some items are discounted up to 50%, so you're going to want to check those out. And they are while supplies last, so you're going to want to get them sooner rather than later. They are only available till the end of June. All the projects we're making today are from the annual catalog. Right now, I'm in the process of ordering the July to December mini catalog. So if you've placed an order with me in the past 6 months, you will receive that catalog free in the mail from me. So that's another great reason to order from me. You will get catalogs free in the mail. Also, if you are looking to place an order, this is my June to July host code. I really appreciate your business. There are benefits to ordering with me. One of them is that I send out a PDF after the first of the month for everybody that had ordered with me during the month. And that PDF contains usually 12 to 20 different card and project ideas. So let's get started now on our cards for this week. Our first card is going to use this Quiet Meadow bundle. This is the stamp set, and then these are all the sort of silhouette patterns that you get with the meadow dies. We're going to be using the following colors: the basic gray, the polished pink, pale papaya, and soft succulent. These last three colors are part of the new In Colors that just came out this month that will be available for 2 years. These are our card parts. I have a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. And that is in the soft succulent. And then I have two basic white layers. They're both 4 by 5 1/4. I have one of those die cut in the soft succulent. I also die cut the little butterfly in the pale papaya. And then I have a layer of the pale papaya, and this is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then the basic white layer is 2 3/4 by 4. And then this is a scrap piece of basic white for our sentiment. So we're also going to be using the Genial Gems. And then I have some of these that we're going to use to add color. And then these are all, we're using a lot of the stamps today. So let's start with our sentiment is going to be thinking of you, and I'm going to do that in the basic gray. So I'm just going to stamp that sort of down the bottom, and then for our sentiment, I am going to be using the double oval punch. So this will punch out both of these at one time. So it's a little bit shorter than my punch. So what I like to do is use a sticky note, and then I can use that as my handle so that I make sure that I get my punch lined up where I want it to be. And then we'll just layer those together for our sentiment. And now let's create our card front. So we're going to layer this card. So I am going to put a tiny little piece of adhesive on the back just to make it a little bit tacky. And center this in the center like this. And now I'm going to stamp my images on both of those layers. Let's see, I'm going to start right here with this one. So as you can see, we are going to get a little bit where it doesn't stamp, but that's okay because this is going to be our layering piece, and it's going to cover up where we don't have the stamp. I just shifted with my tape, so let's get that adhered better. I think it's because I lifted it up. And then we have our flower, and we'll do this up over here. And we have this, it's sort of just some words, and we're going to sort of bring this off to the side here. So I'm doing all of these in the basic gray, and then now to add some color to this, we're going to do the pale papaya, and we'll use this dotted stamp sort of coming up here off the page. And then I'm going to use my little sponge here, and we're going to add some color to these flowers. And now I have the polished pink. And we're going to do some of these smaller flowers in the polished pink. I think that's enough of those. And then we're going to use this, and we're going to add a little bit of color. Whoops, let me hold that to our flower up here. And now we need to add a little bit of color to our stems. So we have the soft succulent, and use our last little sponge. Like that. And so now I'm going to gently lift this up, and then we're going to layer this on our pale papaya layer. And now we'll put this on our card front. So I like this technique for layering your stamped images. I got it lined up, and now we have our sentiment. So I'm going to attach that to our oval punch, and then we will use some dimensionals. Pop that up in the front. Like that, and we have our genial gems. We'll add a few of those. So these are sort of in that, the green and the pale papaya color. So that's why I chose these, to add a little bit of sparkle to our card. Let me get some more putty out of my... so I can pick up my gems. There we go. Maybe I'll put one right there on our sentiment. So the front of our card is done. So let's work on the inside now. So I have these shapes that I die cut out, and those are what I wanted to put on the inside. So get a little bit of glue on there, and put this coming up the side here. And then we will add our butterfly hovering nearby. And then for the sentiment for the inside, I have heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. So this would be a good like sympathy card. But you could use whatever sentiment you wanted to, felt appropriate for whatever occasion you have it for. And before I attach that, I'm going to get an envelope, and we'll decorate our envelope as well. I'll just clean up a little bit here. So here we have our basic white medium envelope, and I'm going to take that flower with the basic gray, put that on the front, and we'll add a little bit of color here with our polished pink. I wonder, I might have enough on there still that I can just do this without adding more ink. There we go. So there's our card, our envelope decorated. And now we will put our card together. I just realized this is the wrong size. So now we'll attach this to our card base. And put the inside of the card in. And there is our first card completed using the layering technique. Here are some other cards that I made using this bundle, Quiet Meadow bundle. So this uses that Pattern Party Designer Series paper that is one of the host rewards. So this is a book fold. This is also a fun fold. I showed this card last week. So that uses that silhouette, and then the paper is from the hand-penned Designer Series paper. And then this is the last one I had made using another one of those silhouettes, and these are just 1/2-inch strips of cardstock in all the green colors. So that's a great set. I love that set. I love the silhouettes. So let me get cleaned up, and we will start on our next card. Our next card will be using the Artistically Inked bundle, which includes the artistic dies, and we will also be using the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Part of this suite of products includes the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper, and also the Expressions in Ink ephemera pack, which includes a whole bunch of different gold foil die cut shapes. So here are a few of those that I've already separated from the sheets. So that could add some really nice sparkle and shine to your cards. So our card parts are, we have the Magenta Madness, and this will have been 11 inches by 4 1/4, and then I cut off 2 3/4 of it, and it is scored at 5 1/2. So this would have made a complete card front, but we're going to layer this way and make it into a fun fold. So using a 1/2 sheet of cardstock, you can still get one card out of that. I also have a piece of the basic white, and this will go on the inside, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. I have 2 pieces of that Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper, and they are both 2 1/2 by 4. I have another piece of Designer Series paper that is 1/2 inch by 4 for an inside layer. I cut out one of the dies in the gold foil. I also cut out a mask piece using the flower die, which is this die right here, so we could do some masking. And then I have this basic white, which was from our Stitch So Sweetly for our label. And then I had another piece of the Magenta Madness that was a 2 1/4 inch square that I cut in half. So we're going to get our stamping done first. So let me put everything else out of the way. Let me get my piece of paper. And we're going to be using the Magenta Madness, Pale Papaya, Shaded Spruce, and Just Jade colors. So I'm going to start with the Pale Papaya. And on our inside piece, we're going to stamp this larger flower. And I'm just going to do this in the upper right-hand corner. And then while I have this out, I'm also going to do this on our basic white medium envelope. I'll put that right down there on that corner. And then I have these little dots, so we'll put those as our flower center. And now the inside of our card is done. Let's do our label. So I have this sort of rosette, and we're going to do that in the Magenta Madness. And I want to use this as well on our little triangle piece. And I'm going to use this bunch of 3 and just sort of randomly stamp this on here. Like that. And now this is where our masking is going to come in. I'm going to, I think it goes like that. And so I want to do my leaves in the Just Jade. But I don't want this little stem to go over my flower. So this way we can stamp that in like that. And then you see it doesn't cover up my flower. So we'll do that again with the other leaf. Right there. And now for my sentiment, there's a couple different sentiments in this set. The thanks and the happy birthday are pretty big. So I have hello or best wishes. And I think for this one, I'm going to do the best wishes. And I'm going to stamp that in the Shaded Spruce. Right like that. And now we can start putting our card together. So this stamp set did not have an inside sentiment. So I would find a different, when I'm ready to send it out, I would find a different stamp set that would have that sentiment. So we're going to attach the inside layer. And then our little triangular piece is going to come down here in the corner, because this is going to be where, when we attach this on the front here, it's going to tuck inside of there as a fun fold. So I only want to put adhesive on the very edge so that I can leave it open as a pocket to get my front layer tucked in there to keep it closed. So we're going to come in and line that up on our corner and let that dry. We also had this half inch piece. We're going to attach that on the inside. Right over here. Okay, let's get this layered while our corner piece dries. So this is the one, this is going to go on the front. Of our Magenta Madness. Get it lined up nice. And then I'm going to pop up our sentiment. Whoops, knocked over my punch. So put this sort of down and over on the right-hand side a little bit. It's not going to be centered. And then I have these gold leaves, and I'm just going to snip off a few of them and sort of tuck them down in here. And let's see, maybe one up here on the top as well. So see if I can use just a little bit of adhesive glue here. And there we have some sparkle, and of course the paper itself has that gold leafing on it, so so it has a lot of sparkle. We're going to layer this on the front of our card right here. And then we will adhere this here, so we want to make sure it tucks in. So I like to use the glue because it has a little bit of give. You can maneuver it in place before it dries. Make sure I don't want too much tucked in because then it'll be hard to open, but I think just like that is good. Give that a minute to dry. And then, see, and then it opens nicely and you tuck it back in. Nice fun fold. Let me get cleaned up and we'll work on our last card. I wanted to share with you some of the other cards that I made using that bundle. This uses those die cut leaves. And then this is a fun fold as well using some of the other designer series paper. This one uses a bunch of the stamped images that I done die cut out. This uses some of those gold foil accents. This is another one of those book fold cards. And then this trellis is from the Bloom Where You're Planted suite. And then those are some of the stamped images that are die cut out. And then this last one uses that detailed die. And then the paper is from that Pattern Party designer series paper, which is part of the host reward. So those are some other cards using that set. Very versatile. Okay, so for our last card, we're going to be using the In Symmetry bundle, which includes a stamp set and then this punch. This also has the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper, which has a lot of those floral patterns. The two colors we're using today are Highland Heather and Just Jade. And then for our card parts, I have the Just Jade, and this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, and then I did cut off a 2 1/4 inch piece. So this is another one of our fun folds. I'm not reusing this piece that I cut off, the 2 1/4 inch piece that I cut off. I'm using that on a different project. And then I have this piece that is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4, and I have scored this at 1/2 inch. I have my basic white, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. This piece actually looks big. No, I did not cut this properly. Hold on while I cut this properly. Okay, now it's right. It is 5 1/4 by 4, so this is our inside layering piece. And then I have a piece of that Designer Series paper. This is 4 by 2. I have a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. Maybe this is the one. This is the 2 3/4 by 1 1/2, and then this is 3 by 2. So again, all of my measurements will be on my blog, stampdesignswithdenise.net. In case I misspoke here, I will make sure they are correct on the blog, so you can always go there to get the most accurate measurements. So this is going to be a buckle fold card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, so on the shorter side of this, I'm going to put this in my punch and sort of line it up in the middle, make sure it's flush all the way to the end, and I'm going to punch. So I have these two little leaves that I punched out, and I'm going to save those because I am going to use that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to open this up because this is how our buckle is going to fit into here. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to come in just a little bit on this and cut like that, so that now I have this opening. So what's going to happen is this is going to go on the inside. We're going to hook in our little buckle, adhere it this way, that will be attached, and then this will act as a buckle and slide in through there like that. But let's get our stamping done first, and then we will assemble this and I will show you how it works. So we need to get our stamping done. Let me get my scrap out here. This is going to go on our buckle. This is the one that is going to be on the front of our card. And then this is the inside of the card. So let me get my stamps out. So for this flower, we're going to stamp this in the Highland Heather. I'm going to do it sort of in the top center of my 2 by 3 inch piece of basic white. And then I'm going to also stamp in the upper right corner of that piece. And then I have my sentiment, which is thanks so much. And I'm going to do that on this piece, which is my 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. Like that. And then while we have this out, we will stamp our envelope right there. Okay. Now, those two are done. So for this, now we have our leaf. And we have a stem and then the leaves. So we're going to do that in our Just Jade. So coming down with that, and then I'm just going to add my leaves coming down my stem. And there we go. So those are done. And then we can start assembling our card. So our designer series paper is going to go on the front there. And then our stamped flower is sort of going to almost cover up our, where our buckle will be tucked into. So I'm going to use dimensionals on the left side. And then let's see, I might put a couple mini ones just sort of there for some extra support. I don't want to put too many too far to this right side because I don't want to block my buckle. So we're going to put that there. Okay. And this is going to get attached on the front near our, towards the side where our score is. And then those two leaves that we had punched out earlier will get attached. Put those there. Okay, so now for this, we want to attach this in here, but we want to make sure that it's lined up with our buckle. So our buckle is pretty much centered. So I am going to put some glue there and center that on this side of my card. And let me just make sure that's going to work before it adheres too much. That'll be a good location. And so now we can adhere the rest of our card to the inside. So then that will just tuck right in there nicely like that. And that is our buckle fold card. There is our envelope. And for our sparkle, I have these pastel pearls. And let's see, these come in 4 different colors. So you could use the darker purples, the whites. Maybe I'll do a few different colors on these. And there we go. So let me just show you, I have 2 other cards that I've made so far using this Sweet Symmetry bundle. This has the Flirty Flamingo with the Just Jade, and then this is Bumblebee and Misty Moonlight with the Just Jade. So I really like the sort of geometric flowers and the symmetry of all of that. Really fun set. So I hope you like that too. Here, let me get out my other cards that I have made today. So this is the one that uses the Quiet Meadow bundle. And then this is the one that uses the, sorry, that completely left my head. What bundle was that? The Artistically Inked bundle. Sorry about that. Sometimes I have so many words in my head I can't find the right one. So thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you'd like to place an order, this is my June to July host code. All of the measurements and pictures will be on my blog. Please check out my blog, stampdesignswithdenise.net. And remember to leave a little sparkle wherever you go.